You know, it's Memorial Day, and summer travel season is in full swing. Here with everything you need to know for a budget-friendly travel experience this summer is travel expert and founder of Going, Scott Keyes. Scott, welcome back. Here we are in our elegant, I'm going to say these are first-class seats because they lean back.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, you know, Scott, it feels
gosh.
like airline tickets are always getting more expensive, but is that reality?
You know, it feels that way, right? Every time we search for flights, it seems like they're more expensive and it seems like planes are more full. I got some good news, though. When you look at the data, airfare today 7% cheaper than it was a year ago, 15% cheaper than its peak 2 summers ago. It's cheaper today than it was in February of 2020.
Wow.
Not only that, planes are actually getting less full. After years of more and more people packing in, it's actually reversed. You've got a better chance at some elbow room on your next flight.
Huh.
Yeah. Hey, what's the cheapest month to travel in the summer?
I won't beat around the bush. It's August.
August?
August. And here's why. Everybody is out of school in July. But by beginning of August, a lot of schools, especially in the South, are back in session. So if you're not one of them, you can circle the back half of August as the cheapest time of year to cheapest time of the summer to travel. Sometimes 40% cheaper than in July. It's remarkable.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And what about avoiding, like, those bag fees?
Yes.
What is the best way to avoid bag fees?
So one of the unfortunate, almost bamboozling predictions that came true from our Going flight experts this year was that bag fees would go up, and they did. By February, airlines had increased those fees to $35. But here's a little 5-minute workaround to get past that bag fee. If you take your bag to the check-in counter, you're gonna pay $35. But if you take that checked bag instead, walk it through security and go to your gate, every single flight that I've been on for the past 2 years, they have asked for 10, 15 volunteers to check their bag to their final destination free of charge.
That is true. They've always, it's always the announcement we hear.
$140 for a family of 4.
Wow.
What happens if you get sick right before a flight, or a couple days you have to cancel? What do you lose everything? What should you do?
So heaven forbid, but right now, if you get sick, you can't take that flight. You can cancel, and the airline will give you a voucher, but that voucher's only good for about 12 months. And, you know, maybe you'll be able to use it, maybe not. The good news, under a new rule from the Biden administration, they say that airlines, when they give you that voucher, it actually has to be good now for 5 years, not 1 year.
Incredible.
Isn't that great? And so, as long as you've got a doctor's note, you're gonna have plenty of time to use that flight credit.
What's your next tip?
So, for last-minute flights, you know, look, we're right here at the kickoff of summer. Let's say you're hoping to go somewhere in June. You're definitely in the last-minute window. But what the important thing to remember is that last-minute flights are not all equally expensive. If you book a month before, you're almost certainly going to see a cheaper fare than if you book a week before. If you book a week before, almost certainly going to be cheaper than a day before. But here's the good news. Even if I'm wrong, even if the flight does get cheaper in the last few days, you can take advantage. Airlines have gotten rid of change fees so that, look, on my flight out here, a couple days after I booked, the price went down by $300. Called up the airline, 5 minutes later, I had $300 travel credit in my account. Super easy to be able to take advantage.
That's
Incredible. What about Europe in the summer? Because a lot of people like to travel to Europe, but it can get very expensive.
Very expensive. And we saw that last summer. $2,000 flights were the norm. But here's, I think, why there's hope. So 2 summers ago, that was domestic flights. Really, really expensive as we were coming out of the pandemic. And then last summer, they fell back down to earth. They got reasonable again. Last summer was when Europe was really expensive. This summer, I think it's going to be much, much better. In fact, we've already seen $570 round trip to Paris, $475 round trip to Iceland, even $457 round trip to Ireland in the summer. Those are some of the deals we found.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
We should book a trip to Europe in the last
Now, yes. Thank you for these tips and more. Head to our website. We'll be right back.